the key message as a former politician, a former Minister of Foreign Affairs, was definitely big data matters, it's power, and at the end of the day, sovereignty is no longer about borders, right? So politicians need to be aware that the time is right, the time is now to get the regulations shaped in the right direction, to get back to that area of becoming a speedboat, being faster, less bureaucratic, and really shaping those regulations that they fit for today's world of data, influenced through cyber attacks. I mean, big topics out there, right? Data flows, but also at the end of the day, remaining sovereign as much as possible, not only relying on the big countries out there, the big players in that field. I think that's one of the biggest risks, and I think if we do it right now, then we can still shape it in the right direction. At the moment, the European Union is shaping different regulations in regards of being better prepared. Also, when it comes to cyber attacks, we've seen a couple of examples very recently, and I think the intransparencies is a big risk out there. I come from a small state, Liechtenstein. We've shaped our regulations always in a very short amount of time. We've had the Blockchain Act, as we call it, the TTTV Act, and that one was really implemented in January 2020 after a very short amount of time, and that allowed us to be ahead of time. And again, you know, I mean, don't overload bureaucracy as such, because it's not helpful. If things are becoming too complicated, try to stay sharp as in orientation of a speedboat, definitely, that you can be ahead of others, because the big players, they don't sleep. Thanks to the Liechtenstein Blockchain Act, which we implemented in January 2020, we kind of took influence on the European Union MiCAR regulation. And I think that's extremely important, you know, that small states also try to shape and support the way forward. And I think also when it comes to, again, sovereignty, as we just mentioned, it's no longer about borders. So the European Union needs to gather all the different states, try to be fast, really get that regulation ready within a short amount of time. And that's the key, because time is of issue. Also, let's not forget, I mean, having taken influence on this big regulation of the European Union, I mean, was definitely something that we are proud of. But Liechtenstein wouldn't have managed if our lines weren't that short, if we hadn't, and that's coming back to your question, included private-public partnerships. Also the private area, definitely experts in the field, not only the lawyers, but also the experts that are already working in that area. Startups are a big component to that conversation too. And I think it's important that you really are inclusive when it comes to these kinds of conversations.